Thank you so much to all of you who watched and commented on our last video. And to show our love and gratitude, we have two very special guests on our podcast.
The podcast.
Happy to be here, guys.
This is the official podcast.
On the Bee Family Podcast, and it's continuing the conversation about online schooling.
Yeah.
And so we thought, instead of us doing all the talking, who better than to share their own stories about the fact that you are no longer in school.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing online learning. What are the pros and what are the cons?
Yeah, and I know a lot of you wanted to know, so I think it's best to share our perspective.
So who wants to start with the perspective?
Did you guys have any questions?
I know we don't have mics.
You are not in school, but you are in an online school.
Yeah.
It's a virtual high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so you still have teachers, you have courses, you have to log in.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say is a pro of doing it online versus doing it in school?
I think there's a lot of pros. I think for us personally, the pros outweigh the cons. I think the biggest pro for me is like the stress factor. And so the workload is the same, but I feel as though that school adds a little bit more anxiety than online school does, because you're in a classroom, you're sitting in a dull room for 7 hours straight. It's a little hard to concentrate, it's a little hard to stay motivated. Of course you have peers around you, but it does get a little distracting. And I think that it's just like that factor that helps me doing work at home. It makes me more calm. I notice even my skin cleared up.
Being at school for 7 hours or 6 hours, however long you're there, is such an old way of thinking about it, especially now with online school. It's like, basically Gabby and I, we just log on. We log on every single day. We do our classes, but we don't need 6 hours to do them, and we're getting the same learning. So I just find it a lot concise.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people look down on homeschool because they think, oh, homeschool is like the parents give the kids do-a-tangs, and now it's like, okay, we're gonna go
Do-a-tang.
It's like, what comes with learning is life experience and traveling and doing things and being one-on-one with the real world. And I think that it's hard to do that when 10 months out of the year you're every single day in a classroom.
So definitely the pros, as you said, waking up when you want to versus having a set time, which doesn't work for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when you guys were in elementary school, your school day started at 8:10.
Yeah.
Which was really difficult.
And on those cold days?
When it was like still night, and dropping you off at the school bus.
Oh man.
And then the other pro, like you said, that your skin cleared up. I remember how you looked, like in terms of your acne, because you were really stressed out being in the school environment, because that doesn't work for everybody. Being in a classroom with 25 other kids and a teacher who now has to look out for all of these students, that doesn't work for everyone, because especially if you are sensitive to other people's energy, if other people are bringing stuff into the classroom and now it becomes part of your day.
Yeah.
Did you really feel that difference where now you're on your own and so it's all about you now?
What I really like about you guys doing this online is that I think it reflects the real world a little bit more, because when you're working, you can refer to things, you can look up stuff on the internet, you can have that with you. So when you're doing tests and they're open book, you have to reference certain things. It doesn't all go by memory.
Yeah.
So I think that what you guys are doing now, what you're learning, is a lot more realistic.
Yeah, I believe that, like, I actually don't believe in the standard, like, old school mentality version of teaching, where it's like everybody's the same, everybody has their textbook that they have to memorize, like each paragraph. Like, if you actually think about it, it's kind of crazy, because think about all the stuff that you, for say, memorized in grade 7 for a test. Where's all that information now? Like, I don't remember Pythagorean theorem, like, A squared plus B squared, I haven't used that yet. Honestly, I found that online school narrowed down all like just the main aspects of brain exercises and all that you need in school, without all of the other BS that we have to deal with. Even just other people. It's just, I think it's amazing. And it's not for everybody, because there's some people who like peak in school and they love school and they go to see their friends, they go to hang out, do clubs. I'm not like really a club person. I'll do badminton, I'll do volleyball, and then I'll go home. Like my life is at home. My life is going out and traveling, but there's some people who prefer that, and it's okay. Like, we're not shaming people who prefer school.
You just recently did some accounting work,
Yeah.
and a lot of that had reference. How'd you feel about it?
Even though a lot of the tests on online courses are open book, I find that I learn better that way because I can use my notes and it relates a lot to the real world because you can search up different things online. That's what online is about. That's what calculators are for, and I think that it helps a lot.
So it's almost like the old way of doing things, which was a lot of it was based on memorization, which doesn't work for everybody. Like it's really difficult for me to memorize. I need to understand something and I need to visually see it. And so it's kind of like outdated and archaic, the way that the system is, versus, it can be open book, but you need to know, you need to have learned the material to then reference it, to then know how to use it.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a big update in the school system because all the material that was invented now has been around since before all of the internet. And so I feel like we have to kind of update it because we have all of the tools we need. I have a calculator. I don't need to do all we have scientific calculators now. Before it was just plus and minus. Now you can do the square root of whatever number you want. And I feel like it's kind of unnecessary packing your brain with all of this stressful information that you 99% of the time won't ever use in your life.
Because it's a new world now and information is readily available. And so gone are the days of having to learn a year's worth of material. Let's break it up, learn small parts, right? And learn in a way that fits your needs. And so I know for you, Roberto, like you really love online because you get to go at your pace.
Yep.
Right?
For sure. That's the thing. They don't give you a small amount of time that you need to complete it. You can complete it at your own pace. But that's also kind of a bad thing because you also have to stay on top of yourself. But as long as you have self-regulation and you're keeping track of all of your different courses, I think it helps a lot because you can take a day off and go to the mall with your friends or do something that you want to do and then come back the day after and do 2 days worth of school and you're still on track. So I think that really helps.
So that was one con.
Yeah, definitely.
Is the discipline. You have to be disciplined, which in all fairness, we had some challenges with.
Yeah,
Yep.
the first year, it's like you start off and you're like, dude, online school, it's so breezy, like you can just do whatever. And then
that's because you guys are watching movies.
And you're playing blocks fruits, and you're doing the thing. But you should, but that's the thing is that I think that self-regulation is actually one of the most important things that you can learn because, when you run a business, let's say with our YouTube channel, we have to self-regulate. We have to be able to know when it's time to actually work, when it's time to relax, and what is actually required. Not waiting for someone to come and tell you what to do. You got to go and do it and go get it. And that's one thing that I saw you guys learning. In the start, it was something that was a massive challenge for you guys.
Yeah.
But the negative became a positive because it became a habit for you.
Yeah.
So you turned that challenge into a positive habit by being more disciplined, by having that self-motivation to hop on, do your work. We found a great tutor.
Amazing tutor.
That helps you. And this is going to actually prepare you for university where you're really independent.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a con that I want to talk about right now. And the con is that the kids are at home all the time. I mean, I love these guys. I love you guys. But there was a lot of learning from that.
We loved having the kids home because you were safe, because we had some challenges at the school that you were at. But it definitely took away from us, from our business, because we work from home. So our business partnership, our marriage, because now we no longer have that alone time. And so there's a lot of factors that go into having kids learning online. And so is it all, flowers and rainbows and unicorns? No. You have to make a lot of adjustments. And so that first year was just changing everything literally from how we had done it to working it in a way where you guys feel safe, comfortable, your work is getting done, our business is getting done, and most importantly is that our family is functioning and we're healthy. And by health, I mean mental health.
Another challenge was the physical aspect, where we had to find that time for you guys to go to the gym, for you guys to get your cardio, because in like a traditional school, there's always that time every day to go to the gym where you play on teams.
So they do have health courses, but they don't do any like physical actual parts where you get up.
Yeah, because it's basically, if you're doing online school, it's just for online. Like, you can't go into it expecting that they're gonna give you different things for working out and anything outside of education. It's basically, you're getting your classes done, and anything you do going to the gym is done separately.
So the hottest topic, I would say, when it comes to online learning, or the question that we get mostly is, aren't you worried that your kids aren't getting social time?
Oh, yeah.
They're not being social with their friends because they're not in school.
Why is that like the main, like, did you know that you can meet people outside of school? If you're watching this, like, be completely honest. The people that you meet and integrate with outside of school, your relationships actually last longer. Like, I feel like my main rebuttal is, you're forced to make friends in this group because you're forced to be grouped in, and like 9 times out of 10, it's not really the best group of kids that you're grouped in. There's a lot of issues that come up. People fight, there's bullies, it's a lot of unnecessary drama. I hate conflict. I'm a person who hates conflict. I try to avoid all drama I can. And at the school that I attended before I joined online, there was a lot of that, and I hated being a part of it, and I always tried to separate myself from it. But I find that in online, I can meet other people who even are in the same boat as me, or people outside of the school, or people who even live an hour away.
When people ask me, what do you do about the whole social thing and about classmates and different things and making friends in school, when I was at the private school that we were at before online school, the only reason why I had friends like that was because it's kind of a normal thing that if you don't have any friends and you're just alone, it's a little weird. And I really hate that idea that you have, because if you want to be alone and you don't want to make friends at school, completely do that. No one should be able to tell you that that's a bad thing. I didn't like hanging out with any of those kids, but I felt almost forced to. And so when we were online, it wasn't a challenge for me to be alone.
So it was forced interactions versus you get to choose. And both of you like to hang out with people that are actually older than you.
Actually, like, majority of my friends are like even up to a decade older than me, because I just, not to be like a pick-me, not to be like a Jaden Smith.
Not to be like,
can we talk about the political economic state of the world? It's like, no, like, I genuinely cannot talk to kids my age. Like, it's so draining. And I felt like, even you watching this, like, at school, do you feel like there's more people you dislike than you like? You feel like, not to be weird or mean,
I think
but
in general.
I think in general, everywhere you go, I'm a people person, I'm an extrovert, but I'm very careful with who I give my energy to, because I found that at the end of every single school day, I was so drained because I had to encounter so many people. Oh, hi, Gabby. Can we talk? Can we go outside? Can we hang out? And you can't really say no to people, and you're always around people 24/7, and you have to like subconsciously get used to that. And that shouldn't be something that kids this age have to do as they're figuring themselves out, as they're growing up.
So there's nothing wrong with being a loner and very choosy about who you spend your time with. And I love what you said, Gabby, is I'm very careful of who I give my energy to.
Sorry.
And we're like that as a family too. We are very careful of who we spend our time with, who has access to you. Whereas in a school, you've got teachers, you have administration, you have students, and 9 times out of 10, I would say, your personality may not jive with everybody.
No.
And that's okay. But then we have this ideal of the popular people who are friends with everyone, but it's like,
And you got to put on that mask all the time, right?
Exactly.
So you're exhausted and you're tired, not from the actual schoolwork, but from wearing that mask that's so heavy all day, every day.
Yeah, I felt like when I was in school, I didn't have like a true like one person who I loved very much. It was always I was just always talking to everybody, and I was always hanging out with different people, and very few people I would repeatedly hang out with. And it was just like, why am I here? Like, a lot of the time, a lot of people say that, oh, learning should be the main aspect of school. It's a very small part of it. I think most of it is just talking to other people and meeting other people and integrating yourself.
and now with the internet, where literally you have access to people from around the world, I know that you have a lot of friends that you haven't even met.
You can make friends online, and those are some of the greatest friends you'll ever meet, because you get to decide who you want to be friends with, you know? When you're in school, you don't really have a choice.
I like the analogy of you're in a classroom, right? And it's like animals. Like there's a giraffe, there's a lion, there's a monkey. and maybe you're a monkey, the monkeys,
Yeah.
and there's no other monkeys.
Mhm.
And now you're forced to make friends with a giraffe. But you don't know how to be friends with the giraffe because
You guys
don't-
like different things.
You don't have the same
Right.
skills.
You guys have a different diet.
right?
Yeah, it was like that one. There was one picture I saw where there was a bunch of animals in a classroom, and then the teacher was like, "Okay, everybody climb up the tree." And then the giraffes were like, "We can't do that. We do this, but we do this instead." And that's how school is. Not everybody is the same.
And don't you find that there's more time now for your extracurriculars?
For sure.
So Gabby, your music,
Mhm.
Roberto, your gaming,
Yeah.
which you are now partnering with
Partner
Papa,
together. Boom.
and you have helped to create 3 video games.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk more about that?
Well, they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, they're doing amazing. You know, one of the games almost has 10 million players.
Yep.
Right.
That's amazing.
And so, what are some of the things that you have contributed?
I love giving my insight, testing the games when I can, and giving my advice on how the games and the mechanics can be better.
So we have Prop Hunt. It used to just be a regular hide and seek game, but if it wasn't for you to say, you know what, they should be props and you should make it this way, the game would have never have seen the success it has right now. And Scramblescape, the new game that we just launched, almost has 1 million players. Roberto literally just changed the gaming mechanics of the game to make it super, super simple and easy, and it's completely changed the game. So, yeah.
And that's experience that you would not have otherwise had in regular school, with a regular curriculum. And because of the flexibility of being online, we're here in
Costa Rica!
and so we are able to travel more as a family.
It was a random Tuesday, and my mom comes into my room. She's like, "I think we're gonna leave next Wednesday for Costa Rica."
Yeah.
I was like,
That was
"Okay, I'm
weird.
gonna put my school around that."
And it works for us. It might not work for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kids, a lot of people who actually like being in groups and working together, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Of course.
But what we want to do is we want to present sort of the differences, the pros and cons, because there may be an option to do it online. And sometimes because parents, you know, you have 2 parents that don't work from home, they're away from the home all day, it's not easy for kids to do it online. But what we wanted to do was just talk about sort of our story and our experience.
Especially for young kids, like that would be really hard for them
Yeah.
to sit at the computer and do online learning. But there were a few comments asking, can you elaborate more on the online learning? What is it? Where do they do it? And so I'm sure there's programs all over the world that do online learning if you want to look it up in your country. But yeah, we just wanted to share some of the pros and cons.
Yeah, and all these programs, they offer the same credits that you would need to get into any university that you like. So there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I would love to do online, but I want to get into this specific university." Of course, you can, on the homepage of this program, they're advertising Yale and Harvard, and it's like, you can really do anything. And I think it's awesome how they give the same chance to these people who don't really want to be in a classroom, or they don't want to do other specific things.
You also can't go into it thinking that it's gonna almost be like an easy way out. I know a lot of people, they look at online school and they're like, oh, it's a little bit easier, you know? And that's actually not the case. It's what you put in, you'll get the same reward, you know? So what you put in, you'll also get what you get out of it. But as long as you're working really hard, you're gonna see success.
Yeah, like
know?
if you see online school as like, oh, it's nice, a way to slack off, a way to sleep in.
Yeah,
No, it's a way for you to get that learning aspect and to get those exercises for your brain, but also not make it such a big part of your year if you want to focus on other things. So there's people who want to do school, want to study because they want to be something in the field of academics. But for me, I want to be a singer, I want to be an artist, and so the beauty of being in online school, I've had so many days to be in the studio. I can be in the studio Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and do my school on the weekend. And it's not so heavy on the weekends because it's online school.
You take your laptops everywhere,
Yep.
and you have internet access literally all over the world.
As
Yeah.
long as you have internet access, you can basically
Yeah.
do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Literally.
So I think it was nice to share your story, the way that you see it. And are you both happy?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Very happy.
it's like I've been a lover of life ever since I've started online school. I
lover
swear.
of life.
A lover of life.
life.
Because before I was like depressed. I was depressed, and I think that school made me very depressed, and it gave me anxiety, and my hands were like always bleeding because I was just always picking my fingers. I noticed a physical change in myself, my confidence, my mindset. Like I love waking up, and I just love doing school, and every day's awesome. Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Like, what about you? Are you happy?
Super happy. You know, once we got over that whole self-regulation obstacle, it got a lot easier because now we know how we should plan our days. You know, as long as you plan your days and you're doing all your courses to the best of your ability.
And your grades have never been better.
That's
those are good grades.
It's a pretty good
Come
feeling.
You guys are
right
getting
now.
your grades are a lot better than
Yeah.
my grades in high school. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But
my grade.
thank you for working hard. Thank you.
Thank you
But
guys.
thank you for giving us
Giving
the
us the
opportunity, for trusting us,
opportunity.
because it's also on your guys' part too, and dipping your feet in the water, because it's not only on us, it's on the parents. There's parents who feel a little bit nervous about this sort of new way of learning and living, because they're afraid that their kids may not have the same motivation. And I don't believe it's for all, but I'm just grateful that you guys have been able to give us that trust, and that, like, it's okay, let's try it, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but like, why not?
Gotta try
you know?
it. Take that risk.
What's the worst that can happen?
What is the worst?
What's the worst that can
Right?
happen?
What is the worst
What
that
is
can
it?
happen?
Oh, you go back to school. You go back to like regular school.
and we've given you that option many times.
Yep.
But now you have found the groove, like you're in it to win it,
Yeah.
and your grades have never been better. I would say you work even harder now than you did before,
Yeah.
because now you're seeing the progress.
Yeah.
And frankly, our family has never been happier
Yeah.
as a unit. So
Yeah, I don't think that after beginning this journey on online school, I don't think I'm ever going to set foot in a classroom ever again. Like, for my university courses, I think I'm just going to do it online, because
Well, that's
it's
the thing.
amazing.
They also have online university.
They do have online university. So again, this worked for us. It might work for you,
might not.
might not.
And it's okay.
And it's
that's
okay.
okay.
And it's totally fine. Look, we traditional schooling, we turned out okay. Well, Mama B turned out okay.
We're still waiting for the results for this
Oh, we're
guy.
still trying to figure it out. We'll see. But yeah, that's the way it is. And you know what? We get to enjoy the beautiful weather
Yes.
as much as we can.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
So let us know your thoughts. Of course, we love reading your comments. Let us know if that's something that you're considering, if it's something that's totally off the books
Doesn't
for
work.
you.
Yeah. And even if you are someone who's doing online school, like, we'd love to hear your side of the story as well, your perspective.
Your experiences, how you like it, what you don't like about it, because we're pretty new to it too. It's like our first year, so.
And thank you to both of you. I know it's not easy to speak like this openly in front of a camera,
Mhm.
knowing that there's going to be thousands of people who watch you, some who judge. But at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is share our lives and our family with people in the hope of inspiring, healing, and sharing love and light. So with that, we will say goodbye and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Don't forget to smash that like button.
All right.